Now, this is a story that my dad had told me a lot of times when we were living in Germany, and he used to tell me that every time we walked past a thistle, like a big thistle, and luckily you don't get very many thistles in Germany, so I didn't get to hear the story very often. It probably interests me more than it interests you, but I haven't heard it in a long time, so I thought I'd bore you with it for 5 minutes. So the story goes that there was a farmer, a young farmer, and he didn't have very much money, but somebody was offering a piece of land much cheaper than you'd normally get it for, because it needed a lot of work doing to it. And he didn't have that much experience, but his granddad said, "Oh, take me along and I'll help you." And this was a very old man, and he was, pretty much blind. And so they went there with a horse and met the man. And the grandfather said to the son, "Oh, well, what's the land like?" And he said, "Oh, it's terrible. It'd take us so much work to kind of get this land going. I don't know." And he's like, "Well, let me talk to the man. You go away and tie up the horse to a thistle. Tie it to thistle." And grandson was like, "Okay." And he came back a bit later and he said, "Oh yeah, I've tied it." And he's like, "Oh, did you have a problem finding a thistle to tie it to?" And the young man said, "No, there's quite a few knocking about." And so he said, "Oh well, hand me the money." So they gave his granddad the money, and immediately the granddad went and took the money, handed it to the guy, and went, "We'll take it." Now, it ended up being the right choice, because it turned out the land was actually really good once you got all the stuff sorted out. And it wasn't because the old man was psychic or anything like that. There's actually quite a good reason for it, and that is that a thistle can only grow to a very large size if the ground it's on is incredibly fertile. And the reason why this idea popped into my head was, I remember the story from so many years ago, was that I got the sense of community when I was at the Remade event on Friday. People sitting together, sewing, talking, chatting, catching up, and really just the way, immediately when you got there, there were people tidying, putting balloons up and stuff. There wasn't any shortage of people helping out. There wasn't any shortage of people tidying up afterwards. We couldn't stay all the way to the end, but we could help out. We helped out a little bit. And it was a really, really good feeling. And I found that people who came in were welcomed. And it kind of made me understand why this story is worth telling. And it boils down to the fact that the grandfather is blind. Because what makes transition groups so unique and powerful and special, that we could actually say, look, we have the confidence that we can make this change, turn this whole thing around and do something positive, and that is the human spirit. Now, you can't quantify the human spirit, but you can tell when it's there, when things like this start coming up. And I guess maybe this is like the beginning of a new financial year, so we've got the opportunity now for 12 months to really go and do something here, so that 12 months from now we're going to be sustainable. And I guess part of that process is going to be to work out what makes this special, so that we can start building communities which are strong enough to tie a horse to. Thank you.